Good morning, everybody. I have a day off. Um, I woke up this morning. Well, let's just put it this way. I went to bed at a decent hour and I slept until about 11:15 this morning, which just shows me and anybody who knows my usual sleep pattern, whatever, that I was exhausted last night. I didn't even stay up to play games that long. I mean, Jerry and I went to bed about 2 o'clock in the morning, and she kind of woke me up wondering if something was wrong because I slept so long. Just didn't really set an alarm, but that's not unusual for me on my day off to not set the alarm. I came into my little space and did my usual morning routine. Just for a minor update, we had I should say, the meeting was last night at work. I did not really get to partake in the meeting, not because of the fact that she planned it that way, but because of the fact that the store was busy and I was the one who was supposed to be on register. No big deal. Sorry, I'm still waking up a little bit. So, I didn't really get to hear a lot of what was going on. And it's fine. I'm now on I'm not worried about work. I'm not worried about what they have to say. I'm going to do my best to do what I know needs to be done. I will continue to read her notes. I will continue to do what I do. I'm not going to fret or overly concern myself with anything to do with that job. The reason why, I have decided basically my life, my health, and my family are more important than getting worked up about a job. If it comes down to she decides to fire me because I'm not 100% on her bandwagon, well, that's fine. If I feel I am unjustly treated or unjustly terminated from my job, I have enough photographic evidence to basically get her in trouble and the date crew in trouble. But that's not my campaign no more. Switching gears, I got up this morning and I did my usual routine and came in here and focused. Not just peruse, but focus on the words I was reading. Excuse me for a second. Oh wait. Allergy season is upon me. Anybody who lives with allergies that are seasonal, you know what I mean. But anyhow, I read, or as I like to usually say, consumed the words that I was reading and realized, yeah, today's today's read was about continuously praying. How Paul, when he started his missionary work, was in constant prayer. Sorry, folks. And prayer has a power in its own. In fact, it even goes on to say that prayer is one of Christians' most powerful weapons? Well, I agree. Prayer can be one of those things that if you are in continuous prayer, it's like you're continuously asking for whatever it is you're praying for. And it does not have to be a selfish prayer where you're praying about yourself. In fact, prayer for others has I would say, an explosive effect. Because not only are you praying for the individual or group or individuals, you're praying for something that could possibly be used in your life, could possibly be used in a massive effect. Um, the author of today's little tidbit in my daily bread devotional collection basically describes prayer in the sense of, or not describes prayer, but describes how prayer should be in a sense, because he described it to modern day teens texting on their phone. He basically goes in there and says that modern day teens text up to 2,200 texts per month. 2,200 texts in a month? I can't say I don't do the same, but I don't think I text that much. But it's like prayer. If an individual person prays 2,200 times a month, the effects could be massive, possibly even life altering. Now, I can't per se that my overnight change of mind towards my job is any indication of, excuse me, any indication of the unknown number of, no, I'm not crying, it is my allergies, the unknown number of people who have probably prayed for me for a change of heart, change of mind, change of whatever. So it's one of those things where it's like, there's obviously, I would say there's obviously some force changing my perspective or my mind over what's been going on at work the last week. Um, Yay, nay, I don't know. There's a lot of unseen factors in everybody's day-to-day life. We can call it the power of prayer. We can call it the power of all of a sudden I can't talk. We can call it the power of prayer. We can call it the unseen forces of God. We can see, depending on your, I guess, your perspective, depends on what you want to call it. Hot spoon. Yeah. Anyhow, I catch my breath now. Tonight, today is one or 2 days off this week. I'm hoping next week will be 3 days, but that depends on a lot of things that have to do with my job. I'm Not sure exactly what's going on. I have my job has a new night cashier that I trained. Well, one of the factors is, and I'm pretty sure if you watch my videos from a couple days ago, she has a situation that dictates that she cannot work Tuesdays, and she was scheduled to work Tuesdays. That's why I worked last night. I'm hoping that my boss either writes down the change or does something to fix it. Now, which basically either means A, I will have to work next Tuesday, which will only give me 2 days off again, which is fine. At least I'm getting some time off instead of having a 10-day string of work. This coming weekend, Friday and Saturday, and Sunday, I think, I am training a third, or no, I'm training a second person to do nights. Now, I can sit here and fret that, oh, great, I'm going to lose my night shift. Or I can be positive and go, oh, good, I won't have to work as many nights, and I can start coming in during the daytime to learn the kitchen and other stuff in the hopes of being promoted to an assistant manager. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to get upset if it doesn't happen. The only thing I will get upset about is if I lose time. Because on the computerized documentation, when I got hired, one, I was supposed to be full-time, and two, I was supposed to be trained as an assistant manager. That fell through because the previous manager basically quit because the bosses were there one day when she had to leave early to take care of family business. And they were like, you're not going to stay to finish your paperwork? And basically they gave her an ultimatum. Quit or stay and do paperwork. She took family over job, which I would do the same. I've already told people this whole business about only having two people at nighttime is kind of like dangerous, because if I get a phone call because my mom or my wife is being rushed to the hospital in an emergency situation, I'm not going to hesitate and wait for somebody to come and replace me. I'm out that door heading towards the hospital. It's the way I was born. That was the way I was raised. That's the way I will live. Because family is more important than anything else other than God. But that's something I hope never happens, but if it does, it does. Anyhow, because I have the day off, Jenny and I kind of loosely planned, so please don't hold me to this, of having a live session tonight via her channel. If you're not a member of her channel, you're just a member of mine, I would try to put a link. Might have to have her help me on it. I'll try to put a link into my description or my information so you can go over there tonight. I kind of had a minor thought about that, and that was, I don't think it's going to work, but I was going to have a dual live chat, but I don't think I'm going to do that. For those of you who are in the U.S., actually for all of you, we all have heard the whole coronavirus epidemic scare and whatnot. The coronavirus, from my understanding, is similar to any other virus. It is spread via contact, so it's not, I don't think it's airborne yet, but I haven't heard stories about how bad it is. I just know from a medical standpoint if you feel that you're coming down with the coronavirus symptoms, which feels and sounds and like sounds like just basically the way I read, sounds like a super flu. It is a very strong bug that acts like the flu but can be lethal. Your best bet, besides trying to keep for me, I can't say for you guys, but for me, I work with the general public. I work with money. Well, everybody knows money is dirty. It's a good way to spread viruses. Is through money because you're contacting money. But in order for this virus to get into your system, is if you come in contact with it. If you scratch your face, rub your nose, whatever, you can get it. It can get into your system that way. It has to come in contact with your mouth or nose. If you get it on your hands, you can go wash your hands with antibacterial soap, and it's supposed to work. Well, because I play with money all the time because of my job, I have next to my cash register a bottle of hand sanitizer, which I got to replace because it's getting low because it's getting used a lot. But my supervisor decided to buy one of those big, looks like a soap dispensing pump. That's hand sanitizer, so that's getting used a bit. I gotta put this with my work stuff. So basically, the thing is, and I'm pretty sure they put out warnings and whatnot. Just be mindful of. Oh yeah, I just got a message saying that the coronavirus has been considered a pandemic. A worldwide alert has been put out. Great. Which tells me it somehow got out of its country or location of origin and gone throughout the world, which, yeah, makes me wonder, maybe I should go set an appointment to have myself checked out. So, but the thing is the way, yeah. The only thing we can do right now is go get our checkups, keep ourselves clean, sanitize our hands, wash our hands. Anytime you come in contact with a new or foreign object, or maybe you're like me, maybe you work in a job where you're handling money, or you're handling objects of possible contaminants, money. You get a new package from, doesn't matter where, you get something in the mail, wash your hands. Just constantly keep yourself clean. Constantly disinfect, constantly clean your hands, clean your environment. It was kind of funny because I was reading messages on Facebook from friends and family about how certain areas that are being, well, I shouldn't say certain areas, but I had a friend of mine put on Facebook how he had to drive to six different stores and 2 different gas stations to find a 4-pack of toilet paper. Are we running out of toilet paper, or are people just going nuts? But it it kind of reminds me about something I used to read. I was big in my teens on things or material like Edgar Cayce, Nostradamus. People who made predictions years, decades, whatever. I mean, Nostradamus made predictions in his quatrains about events that didn't happen until 100 plus years after he died. It makes you go, how much more of his quatrains could be coming true? Pandemics was one of them. What are we now suffering a lot of? And we've had a number of them that have become pretty bad. Yeah. Okay. Should I try to go back and find my source material? I don't know. I don't have those books no more. Edgar Cayce, the quote unquote sleeping prophet, he made quite a few predictions that have come true. Now, the one other person that one other source material that I used to read that got me interested in those things was, I probably mentioned her before, a Native American woman. Well, I don't know if the author was Native American, but the woman that the author wrote about was Native American. The Native American woman was a woman by the name of No Eyes, Native American shamaness, or shaman. I don't know if it's S or just shaman. But Mary Summer Rain, if you can find her books, had a book called Phoenix Rising. Yeah, and that was an interesting book. But she also has some really good books that turned me on to, not really spiritualism, but the factor of ghosts existing, was her book called Phantoms Afoot. Mary's books were one of my treasured collections that got lost. And finding her books to purchase has been a real feat. Two of the books that I got back out of my collection was through eBay. Now, I haven't gone back on eBay to look, but yeah, if I could get her first 6 books, and I think I got 2 out of them, I'd be a very happy camper. She had Spirit Song, Phantoms Afoot, Earthway, Phoenix Rising. Oh, fudge, I can't remember the other ones. Okay, well, anyhow, I'm pretty sure if I looked online I could find them. Where am I going? Oh. Anyhow, for those of you who believe in not just one road of belief systems, if you are like me, have a broad perspective and a willingness to look at everything, but I will tell you this much because it happened to me once. If you go down that rabbit hole where you want to look at everything, watch your fuzzy tail, because there are certain things out there that I read that when I pulled myself out of that hole, basically, I realized that could have been a dangerous situation, because my background, let me just put it, my background. My background is granted I was raised in the military, but I was also raised Christian. I was raised to believe in Jesus, the Holy Spirit, basically what I call the triune God, which that's what he is. 3 parts, 1 entity. When I had a devastating event happen in my life, which you all should know by now, I lost my perspective. I lost my way. There we go, my way. And I started to read everything. And I mean literally everything. Something inside me, because when I was growing up, I didn't like reading. In fact, I didn't like reading until my teens. I tried to avoid books like the plague. Okay. But after my earth-shattering event, I started reading everything. Now, I didn't just start out grabbing a religious text in one form or another. No. I got interested in reading by reading Jack London, Call of the Wild. One of my favorite non-religious books. Well, one of my favorite books, period. And it got me thinking, hey, if I can read this because I'm interested in this, this is something I'm interested in, the wild, the Klondike, the adventures of just not having to deal with the hustle and bustle of modern day city life, which basically that's what Call of the Wild was. It was a book about, granted it was about a dog, but still, it got me thinking. And then, of course, my 10th grade reading teacher basically said, because of your, and she did this for her whole class, it wasn't just me. Basically, she said, in order for you to get a grade in this class, there's two ways to do it. One, do the classwork. Well, everybody has to do the classwork no matter what. But two, to get a really good passing grade, to basically be analyzed in your own method, find a text, find a book, non-comic, non-picture book. It has to be a novel or a book. Read it, give it to her. If she's already read it, she'll quiz you on it. If she hasn't, she'll take it and read it. Now, that was the challenge. Find something I was interested in, read it, give it to her, let her read it, and do a verbal essay. Okay, sure. I don't know what I'm interested in. First book was one of her books off her shelf, Jack London's Call of the Wild. After I did that, I was like, ooh, that was easy. Let's go find something else. Now, granted, she gave you a time frame. You have to be able to do this within X amount of time. Okay, sure. I went out looking for books at my local B. Dalton Books in Arizona and found the first Mary Summer Rain book I read, Phantoms Afoot. I picked it up. The cover was interesting. It was cool. It had like this wispy forehead, wispy figure on it. I was just, oh wow, okay, this looks interesting. I didn't realize that I was in an area for Bibles and spiritualism and religion, basically a religious section. So I picked it up. I looked at it, flipped it over, and I read the back, and I was like, Mary Summer Rain deals with, it talks about how, the back does a synopsis, how back of the book does like a quick synopsis. I was just like, ghosts, spirits, okay, sure. Why not? Because at the time, here's going to be the kicker. At the time, it was almost a year after my father passed. And I could swear up and down his ghost was at the foot of my bed several different nights. So, what the? Now, a lot of psychologists would go, oh, that's because you're still longing for your father to be in your life. Kind of. I understood he was gone. I understood death. I understood the whole process. No. It wasn't a longing for him to be there. It was more, if it was a psychological issue, it was more like a longing to be like him, not for him to be back. He had his time. It was time for him to go. I understood that in a subconscious level, even though in a conscious level, yeah, I would say I want him back. But my understanding, hindsight being what it is, my understanding is no, it wasn't a psychological need for him to be back. It was more yeah, he was there looking after me and wanted me to know that type situation. Because the subconscious brain works on a different frequency and level than the conscious brain. And it has been proven by scientists that the subconscious brain is the part of the brain that controls and operates parts of the mind that would be connected in a what is the word? Psychic connection of sorts. It is also the part of the brain that has a higher understanding of the world around us. Very few of us can tap into that during our waking period, and I was wide awake. So, Dr. Freud, go stuff it. But anyhow, our world, as we know it, is changing in a way that can be understood if we were to slow down the hustle and bustle of our lives and reconnect to the world in a level that mankind, for the most part, has lost. The Native Americans, the Druids, the various, I don't want to say religions, but the various people that held a connection to the world as it was, or as it is, back in the old days. And I don't mean like the 1800s. I mean like the old, or what we now call the ancient days. The ancient people of this world had a communion of sorts with the world, that they understood the changes that was happening. Some of them, like the Native Americans, foresaw Anglos, white people, coming to this continent and, well, lack of better words, tearing it apart like they did in their own homelands as they modernized. There are three groups. There are three American groups that no longer are with us. The Inca, the Maya, and the Aztec. They all literally disappeared from the face of the planet. Nobody knows why. Not even in all the studies of the ruins and glyphs and lands that they came from explain where they went and why they disappeared. It's just literally like they vanished off the face of the planet. There are those who have tried to understand the hieroglyphs and whatnot on the ancient Inca and Maya pyramids and temples and whatnot. And the only conclusion they came up with was they left. They literally flew away. But in their writings, they see the depiction of our planet basically dying. Why? We don't know. Natural disaster, man-made disaster, cosmic events. We don't know why. The same thing has been found in caves and whatnot by the Navajo and Hopi Indian. They're finding the same information and evidence in Stonehenge, some place in China. They're finding a lot of information that basically forewarns man-made disasters we make upon ourselves. Coronavirus. Is that a man-made thing? Is it one of the heralds warning us to return to the natural ways? Don't know. But there is also writings by the same groups saying that there will be a period of time where, for lack of better words, a cleansing of the world. Basically saying that the world won't be wiped out, it will be cleansed. A large portion of everything will be destroyed. Plants, animals, people. We don't know whom. There's no, saying or determination. The only thing I can say is, by nature's law, it is the strongest that will survive. Now, a lot of people might sit there and go, oh yeah, I lift weights, I am big and strong, I will survive. No. That's not, there's no indicator of who would be considered the strong. I think, and this is my personal opinion, that it will be those who are less adept at using modern day technology, less artificially, chemically, whatever. In other words, if you rely on modern day medicine and modern day technology and modern day ways, there's a strong chance that you won't be able to handle a change where technology gets zapped, where modern day chemistry and chemicals kill you. That's my opinion. But if you listen to your nation's space program, if you listen to the fact that scientists are saying that the sun right now is going into what they call a dormant period. What that means, according to the explanations I've read, is there's not as many sunspots. There's not as many solar flares. The sun is not really going dark, but it's not pumping out as much energy as we've seen in the past. And I don't know nothing about science. I'm not a big science fan. I'm not a big the world is going to do what the world's going to do. Science can't say yay or nay to anything. Okay? Science has been trying to explain things away for decades. The biggest thing that science has ever done to help the modern day world is understand penicillin. How to make penicillin. Once they started getting into the artificial chemicals for pills and drugs and basically trying to manipulate and control our bodies through chemistry. And that's where I draw the line. My chemistry, make a good tea. Take the natural plants and herbs and supplements that nature provides to make a good tea. I have proven through my own body that artificial chemicals, such as drugs, medicines, things like that, they might work for a short period of time, but then my body goes, haha, we're used to this. You want to try to send something stronger? I gave a story about my life at one point in time where I was being prescribed an antidepressant, antipsychotic medication that they had to take me off of because after increasing the dose 6 times, the toxins because of the chemicals could have killed me. That right there proves to me that artificial medications, things that are not made of nature, are not worth the freaking paper the formula is written on. Okay, chamomile. It does 3 things for me. Relaxes my nerves. Calms my mind. Calms basically any kind of irritant that I might be dealing with. It is a natural, in my mind, it is one of many natural herbal antidepressants. Okay? You want to know another one? Lavender. The smell of lavender alone calms. Lavender tea calms. Mint tea is basically, mint tea is an antidiuretic. Basically, if you got an upset stomach and you're going, drink yourself some mint chamomile tea. Okay? That's my body. If I could literally donate my body, my living body, not after I die, right now, to science, to allow them to use my blood, analyze my chemistry, whatever, so they can sit there and go, how is this guy capable of basically living better on herbal supplements than medication that he can either go buy off the counter or be prescribed by a doctor? Because God made our bodies to live a natural, healthy life through natural means. Not artificial chemicals, not freaking medication that somebody cooked up in a lab. Oh, my wife was watching TV in the other room. Anyhow, yeah. Tonight we are doing, I'm hoping, by 11, at least by 11 o'clock p.m., trying to remember, Central Standard Time, which will be midnight Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Pacific Time. For those of you who live in the U.S. If you live outside the U.S., I'm sorry, I have trouble just remembering my time zones. But do me a favor, and this is for me and you. Most of the time when my wife and I do a live stream, she takes over. One of the biggest reasons why she takes over is because of the fact that we're doing the live stream on her YouTube, because she has a larger following. I only have about just under 700 people who follow me. I know that's a lot, and I know I could probably do my own live stream when I wanted to, but my problem is if I do a live stream, because I know this from the past, if I were to do a live stream, I would have trouble following your comments and communicating to you, trying to answer your comments while talking, which is rude, not to acknowledge the fact that you've asked me a question. Now, that would be the downside of me doing my own live stream. That downside of doing one with her is she'll take over the conversation, which I don't mind unless I know that the question is directed towards me. So, if you get onto the live stream and you want to direct a question to me, put my name down and then the question. That way, when I'm reading it, because that's what I do for her, is I read the comments to point out which one seems to be the most important. If I see my name, I will jump in and say something. This is another long video, and I am sorry. I really am sorry that I get long-winded and just start going on and on and on. So, I'm going to end it now. So, if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. If you have a question or comment, put it in the comment box. I will try to answer it. If I feel the question needs to be put down on a video, I'll put it in a video. If not, I will try to answer it myself. I'm sorry for those who have done that in the past. I didn't answer. Probably because of the factor I was trying to go through it real quick. If you're new and you want to see more, go ahead and hit the bell. YouTube will notify you when I put in my next video. And until next time, God bless and have a good day.